Is your health and well-being at its optimum level? The reason why it's not for most, according to Isabel Lipari, is because of lifestyle habits. I spoke to Isabel about her new book, 21 Days to Change Your Lifestyle Habits. That's coming up in this video. Hello everyone, I'm Stephen Goldberg of Optimus Performance, and I'm pleased to have with me today Isabel Lipari of Eloquens. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, that's fine.
A health and wellness provider, service provider to companies.
Correct.
And Isabel just published this great book called 21 Days to Change Your Lifestyle Habits. And I've been going through this book, and it really resonates well with me because I'm into health and wellness, have been for a long time, and have seen the benefits of it. So tell me, what motivated you to write this book in the first place?
In the first place. A few different things, but mostly I think the idea came out of some coaching sessions that I was offering in companies where the employees would sign up, and I would give a presentation on health, benefits of being healthy, and then each person would get about 3 sessions with me about every 3 to 4 weeks on how to change certain habits. I had put together a little questionnaire. They would answer it. They would choose themselves what they wanted to change in the next 3 to 4 weeks, and they would sign their contract and so on. And I had a lot of success with that method of working, and I realized that the advice I was giving them was really simple, basic things, really practical, and just to me it seemed obvious, but it seems like to these people it wasn't so obvious. And with the success rate I got, I figured, why don't I just write all this advice and information in a book so that I could reach more people? Because obviously, you know, company by company, I was, you know, reaching maybe 30 people at once. So the other idea was to, my life mission now with this company is to promote health. So this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, and I wanted to put all the information that I do have, that I've been accumulating for a lifetime, and help people in such a practical way. I don't agree with diets and fads and different ways of eating. I just think we have to go back to basics and just, you know, do things that are logical. And these tips, these are the 30 best lifestyle habits that somebody could have for optimal health, and I hope it'll work. Yeah.
I recently read a stat about obesity, you know, because I think it was a U.S. stat that, I don't know if it was 40% or 60% of adults between a certain age were considered obese, and a very high percentage of young people too. So what, you know, and you know, we see all this fast food and people just, you know, eating that, sitting in front of the TV. Why do we get into that state? Why is it so prevalent, do you think? And how can something, you know, some of the tips in your book help that?
Help that. Yeah, well, the obesity rate is going through the roof, and it's like, first of all, you know, it starts, you're a little overweight, you take up a couple of pounds, 5, 10 pounds, and you let it go. And so, you know, it's the combination of not eating well and being sedentary, like not doing anything. And I'm not talking about just going to the gym. I mean, that's for very few people, but just walking and being active in general. So the combination of those two things has gone, you know, crazy. So people have been taking all this weight. Now, these tips go back to explaining, for example, I'll say, you know, try to cut back on junk food. And junk food is chips. I mean, people just eat that. They don't even know. They're just eating it every day. It's their snack. You know, at work, they're going to have their chip and their Coke. They just don't realize that the accumulation of all these chips and like, they just keep going, fries and trans fats all the time. So we, you know, to me, I find society has gone in the wrong way of all these processed foods. We have to go back and just eat, you know, I always tell, especially kids, I'll say, you know, look in your hand, and if you don't know which part of this food comes from nature, you shouldn't be eating it. So we have to go back and eat like what came from the earth and stop with all these processed foods. But obviously, like, our time crunch has made it easy for us to go, oh, well, you know, I don't have time to cook, I don't have time to prepare, I just grab on the go. And then there are things that are processed and that contain bad ingredients and fatty ingredients. And it does nourish the brain, though. It just complements like a psychological need.
I totally agree with that. Yeah. I see the impact on me of eating healthy and exercising. It's huge. So you know, we talk about change, and we don't like change. We're stuck. We're prisoners, I always say, of our habits.
Yeah.
So how do you suggest people, what's the first step to change a habit? If you're eating poorly, you're not exercising enough, like what is one tip that you can give from your book that people can do
to go towards change?
Yeah.
I do explain in there the change process, the psychological change process in a human being, because obviously we're all ready at a different time. You know, some people are, you know, they know they're doing something wrong, but they don't really know what's wrong with it, and, you know, and then they go to the stage where, oh, I know I shouldn't be eating all these chips or drinking all this Coke, but I still don't want to go ahead and change with it. So it takes a while, and each of those stages are different for everybody. So somebody might go through those first two stages, you know, in a couple of weeks, and then the other person might take years in finally deciding and convincing themselves that they should change. So that process, I really can't give a tip other than reading the book. I'm giving health information in there.
Yeah.
And each habit has a health information to just kind of, you know, in your eyes show you, like, if you continue doing this, this is what's going to happen to you. So I pulled out, you know, a whole bunch of medical stats that will help the person and motivate and changing into that action stage.
Yeah.
So you want to go into that action stage. Now, the other thing I did with the book was I really simplified it. So for each habit, let's say somebody says, oh, I'm drinking too much Coke and I want to reduce that, or I'm not having enough fruits. There are simple tips, and it takes you one step at a time what you should be doing. And then there's also the 21-day log that really helps in putting together your actions and your objectives. And
so going back to employers, you know, because you go in companies and work and educate, and I think, you know, the key is education, because you know, you could be having bad eating habits and, you know, not working out, and maybe you're young and you don't experience the, you know, the outcome of that till much later, perhaps in life, maybe earlier, but so you're postponing something, some maybe suffering, and it's not, doesn't feel good to be sick or to be incapacitated. So it really comes down, I think, a lot to education. That's what your book is doing. But so what can companies do? And let me ask you, what percentage of companies do you think have a wellness program now?
They did studies. In the States, it's much higher. Almost all companies are doing that now because their system is private. So companies with the insurance are, you know, holding the load of the non-health costs. In the Canadian West, it's a little higher, but I believe here it's still about 15% of companies that have a full wellness program. And
would that be the larger companies?
The larger companies are doing it, definitely.
So not the smaller, medium-sized companies?
The smaller, some of them are, mostly in regions, because out there, let's say like Drummondville or Victoriaville, they're having a hard time recruiting. So that's one, like a competitive advantage they're giving themselves is, you know, we offer this, so stay with us and don't go to Montreal or, So this book then is, it could be bought, I guess, in stores? Is it or online? The English version is online at Amazon.com.
At Amazon.com, okay.
Yeah.
And it's a great compliment for employers to give to their employees as part of a workplace health benefits program, and also obviously to use some of your services. What are some of the things you do when you go into companies? Some of the services you provide?
Generally, my service is really to offer the diagnostic tool and then to see what's going wrong and what the employees need. We identify what those needs are, and then we propose solutions. Some of those solutions I implement myself. For example, like improving lifestyle habits, and others. Let's say we're talking about musculoskeletal problems, and we want an ergonomist to come in. We're going to hire a firm, like a specialized ergonomist firm. If it's management practices, and we want, you know, an HR specialist to come in and train them, we will do that. So I'm mostly, like, I call myself the chef d'orchestre, so the...
Providing that overview, that
the
analysis.
Overview,
leave us with one great tip from the book that everybody could benefit from to improve their health and wellness. What would you say it would be?
One tip, my goodness, that's hard. I would say buy the book and read it and choose one habit at a time and just try to change one
And use the goal-setting process. I mean, definitely. You know, we share that that principle of SMART goal setting. I see you've incorporated that in the book. You know,
it's
be
really
specific,
important. Yeah.
measurable, achievable, realistic in time.
Yeah.
So that's great. I'm glad you've incorporated that.
It's important because, you know, people say, oh, I want to lose weight.
Yeah.
But what do you mean you want to lose weight? Like how much weight?
Yeah.
And then put it on a timeline, because obviously if you say 50 pounds, it'll be different than 10 pounds. So you want to put yourself in a timeline right away. And if it's a big amount of weight, you would want to chunk it up in 21 days. Like, okay, the next 21 days I'll lose 5-6 pounds. So, you know, if the objective is too big,
you also like get them to think about what could stop you from achieving that goal and how are you going to overcome that, which often it's not well elaborated in a goal-setting program, so you've included that. So I think it's great. It's got a lot of material. Thanks again for talking with me today, and great success with the book
Thank you very much, Stephen.
Your business.
Thanks.